Did the 15-inch MacBook Air just eat the pros' lunch? Should professionals still be buying pro machines, or can they start saving some money and get the same or better performance out of a fanless design? We're going to take a look at the M2 MacBook Air 15-inch and compare it to my main driver, which has been the 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro from a few years ago. The Pro is easy to spot because of its black keyboard deck and exposed speakers. Other than that, they both have pretty much the same design. We have a Touch ID power button, full-size function row, and a large glass trackpad. On the left, the Pro has a couple USB ports, a headphone jack, and a MagSafe. On the right, an additional USB, HDMI, and a full-size SD slot. The Air has pretty much all the same benefits. We have the exact same keyboard, we have the exact same trackpad, and the same Touch ID sensor in all of the same places. On the left, we have the same couple USB ports and MagSafe. However, on the right, all we have is a headphone jack. We're missing the full-size SD card, HDMI, and a USB port. When it comes to portability, the Air can't be beat. It has the perfect balance of a 15-inch large high-resolution display while still fitting in a footprint that's incredibly thin, light, and compact and rigid. In fact, it's so thin that the Air fits within the base of the 16-inch Pro while still offering almost the exact same battery life. Jumping into some benchmarks, we're going to take a look at hard drive speed. This is critical for professionals because they're often loading massive files into these huge programs, and the quicker the hard drive, the faster the load. The Pro here is easily 2 to 3 times the speed, if not more, of the Air. Moving on to Geekbench, we're going to take a look at how the M1 Pro with its 10-core CPU and 16 gigs of RAM fares against the M2 Air with only 8 gigs of RAM. The Air noticeably is a fanless design. No surprises here, the M1 Pro benchmarks better by almost 30%. It's a big gap. Now let's do some real-world testing. We know the Pro machine has more cores at higher clocks with higher performance, a drive that's 2 to 3 times faster, more RAM, and it's actively cooled. Cards are stacked against the Air. This should be a no-brainer. We have the same Final Cut Pro project loaded on both machines, and we're going to do a render speed test. As we come across the finish line, lo and behold, the Air was the winner. Based on the benchmarks, this shouldn't be possible. The Pro machine is drastically faster by all metrics, yet the ultra thin and light Air just beat it in a professional task. And it's not just video editing. I do a lot of coding and app development on these machines, and I noticed on the same project in both machines, the Air will finish at the same time or slightly faster consistently. Now, that doesn't mean the Pro machine has nothing going for it. One of the biggest assets is its screen. You can see here it tilts back a little bit further than the Air. It also has noticeably thinner bezels than the Air, especially when they're side by side. It uses a more advanced mini LED technology for higher contrast and deeper blacks, as well as more peak brightness. It's also higher resolution, and it runs at a 120 Hz refresh rate compared to the Air's 60. This should allow for smoother scrolling, more responsive applications, and a general snappier feel to the product. But I do have to admit, through a mousepad, it's hard to notice as much of a difference. 120 Hz feels fantastic on a touchscreen, but here they just look very similar. They feel very similar. The specs say we're getting double the performance, but I just don't see it. When it comes to screen real estate, there's more good news for the Air. Our 16-inch here fits 52 lines of code on its screen. The Air is actually optimized that you get the exact same 52 lines, meaning you're not losing any screen real estate on the smaller machine. There is, however, one place where the Pro display is noticeably better than the Air, and that's in contrast and black levels. You can immediately see the benefits of the mini LED technology when you look at the letterboxing. On the left, the black bars are invisible. This is approaching OLED level quality, whereas on the right, you can see noticeable graying in those areas. This is a result of the older IPS technology used in the Air. Another big advantage for the Pro machine is the full-size microSD card slot. Even if you're not a photographer, this is a great asset for professionals because you can plug in a microSD card slot and have it permanently installed in the machine. This is a fantastic option for those who like backups or who work in, again, professional environments where you may accidentally need to recover a file from a few hours ago to a few weeks ago. Here you can see my Time Machine backups from my SD card, which is always installed on my device. Audio is also noticeably better on the Pro versus the Air, with much richer sound, deeper bass, and louder, clearer overall volume. Hopefully you can hear the difference. The Air is at the top of its class, but the Pro model is just in a league of its own when it comes to audio quality. So in 2024, should professionals still be buying Pro models? I'm thinking the answer is no. The MacBook Air has exceeded every single benchmark. It's competing against a computer that's 2 to 3 times faster than it, and it's either holding pace or beating it in most professional tasks, all while being drastically thinner, drastically lighter, fanless, and packing nearly the same battery life. I'll miss the SD card, and yes, the screen and sound is slightly better on the Pro model, but with pricing the way it is, I could buy the Air, a 50-inch TV, and a soundbar, and still have money left over. Yes, there are professionals that push these machines harder than me, but when it comes to Photoshop, video editing, website design, software development, the Air has been able to complete every professional task I've thrown at it, on pace with the Pro or slightly faster. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help our channel grow. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next one.